Elephant Man Podcast Network, Grown Man Conversations dealing with elephants in the room. It's your man, Brother DB. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can know when new material is coming out. IG, Elephant Man _podcast, Facebook / Elephant Man Podcast, Twitter / Poster Boys, and I'll hit the Paleo Hebrew in the top right or the bottom right corner to subscribe on YouTube. Also, make sure you subscribe on TikTok. We got to get that one platform going. It's just such a short format. I'm used to long videos. Everything is 30-second videos. You got to get a short format going on. Blessings to everybody. My bad for being late. My cord was bent. I had to go get my other cord. So I was like, man, look, we still going on, and we still gonna get it going on. Blessings to those who are in the chat. Blessings to those who are coming in to the listening on the replay. Jason Camphor, what's going on? Camphor from Baltimore. Yeah, them Ravens, man, they beating up on the Dallas Cowboys a little bit. But they doing their thing. Cam 2 player, Auntie blessings, shalom, blessings. You love Yah, salama. You already know, salama Yasharal. Blessings to you, blessings to everybody coming in. And I don't know if my mother, Lisa Lamont, blessings to you, my wife LaDonna Brazil. Blessings to Ida Harris. She's in town from Texas. Blessings to her birthday. Happy belated birthday. Blessings to you and the family, and blessings to cousin Sam and Tosh and Vita and everybody, and blessings to everybody who come in and listen. So blessings to everybody, man. I just thank the Most High for everything that He's doing. One thing that we got to remember, and everything that's going on, one of the main themes and the main things that we can understand is that Yah is in control. Now we say that, and we know that these rulers, they can get unruly at times, right? But at the end of the day, Yah's in control, right? And it said what? The king's heart is in his hand, and he turned any which way he pleased, right? But sometimes, like I said, with Rome and Babylon and all these different kingdoms, let me post this thing up here real quick. Babylon and Persia and Greece and Rome and restored kingdom of Rome, all these different kingdoms start acting a fool. We be forgetting who's in control. We can't forget who is in control. Make sure you share this. Make sure you like, get those thumbs up. But at the end of the day, the Most High Yah is in control. Last week we were talking about transition of power, and we was talking about how Daniel 2 and Nebuchadnezzar had the dream about the statue, and there was a head of gold, arms and chest of silver, belly and thighs of bronze, legs of iron, feet of iron and clay, and then a crushing rock at the end of the age, and to come to destroy all kingdoms. Right. So there's always a transition of power. There are different powers throughout the world, but there is no one power that's just going to rule and reign forever. And we talked about how Babylon was overthrown by Persia, and Persia was a weaker, wasn't as strong military. They have a strong military might as Babylon, but it still was overthrown because that's what the Most High said. So I'm thinking about U.S. and how arrogant we is. We got all of these bases all over the world. We got these missiles, and we got these tanks and nukes, and we just think that we just untouchable. But all of the kingdoms thought that they were untouchable. But when the Most High say time's up, it's time for the next kingdom, then that means it's time's up. We know that the enemy and Isaiah 14 says, I want to be like the Most High Yah. He wants to take over the creation of the Most High Yah, but he will never be the Most High, right? Because that means that the Most High can't be the Most High. So he is patient due to dispensations of time. We also read when Yahushua first came on the scene, he came as a lamb, the sacrificial lamb. They said he was like a sheep led to the slaughter. They said he didn't say a mumbling word.
They said he made himself of no reputation, right? But he came to set the captives free, to deliver us from second death, right? And also so we can restore the kingdom of the Most High Yah. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to restore the kingdom of the Most High Yah. And so you got to imagine at that time, uh, Israel at that time when he came on the scene, he was doing many mighty miracles, healing the sick, raising the dead, casting out devil. I mean, making the winds and the waves obey him, walking on water, turning water into wine, just doing all kinds of amazing things. So they're like, bet this is the Mashiach. So they was thinking that they was going to be uh, the kingdom was at hand, and that he was going to overthrow Rome at that time, who was in power. And he said, "My kingdom is not of this world, and it's not at this time that we will overthrow Rome." So we have to trust in the Most High's timing, trust in his. He said, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." So his kingdom is the last and the most powerful kingdom, and we are representatives of his kingdom um, when we become a part of Yahushua HaMashiach. Jesus, people that know this Jesus the Christ, but we are followers of the way. He said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man come to the Father but by me." So when we follow him, we are followers of the way, right? And Eb Lamont in the building. Shout out to Eb Lamont. Shout out to Miles. What's going on, Miles? Shout out to Micaiah and Malachi. Blessings to y'all. So we just thank the Most High Yah for everything that He's done and everything that He's doing. But we're gonna talk about the next transition of power, and I like history and stuff, right? Um, so transition of power from the Persians, the Medes, to uh, Greece was the next transition of power. Okay, so we're gonna read some of this, but Daniel chapter 8 is where we gonna go. So it basically went from this was a symbol of the on the left was the goat, if you're looking at my symbol, and on the right was the ram. And the ram with the two horns represent Persia and Mede, and then the goat with the one horn represented Greece. So let's go into that real quick. All right, and then we're gonna read it, but let's I got some of these too many books open up. I'm sorry guys, I got tabs open up, got a whole bunch of stuff open up, y'all. All right, let's get rid of some of this stuff. All right. Abba Yah, in the name of Yahushua, we thank you for your grace, your mercy. We ask you to bless us, hide us behind the cross that they may not see us or hear us, but they may see you and glorify you in the Shemayim. In Yahushua HaMashiach's name, we pray. Amen. All right. So we're going to project this real quick. And I know people used to, prophecy and prophesy a spouse, a house and a new pet mouse. I don't, it's a time and place for all of that. But right now we just going to dig in a little history real quick. All right. But like I said, the main theme is that the Most High is in control. The king's heart is in his hands, and he turned it any which way he please. So I'm getting ahead of myself when I say don't fret who's going to be in the office, right? Because basically it's a temporary kingdom. And I know some people really want, the U.S. to stay on top and different things like that. We'll get to that at another time, but we can't pray away prophecy, right? Prophecy has to be fulfilled. Prophecy has to go according to scripture like he said, right? We can't go ahead. We can't go behind. Like even when Yahushua was here on the earth, he lived 33 years. He couldn't die a second before it or die after. He had to die on the Passover, so he can't be the Passover lamb, right? Because it's his cousin John said, "Behold, the Lamb who take away, not cover, who take away the sins of the world." So he had to die on the Passover. The timing is amazing, right? They always, we always hear Abba is always on time, right? And he is always on time. He's not short. He's not a day late or a dollar short, never. And even when Lazarus was dead and he was in the grave for 4 days, and then by the time Yahushua come on the scene, um, everybody was all down and like, yo, he died, man. And if you'd have just been here within the 3-day period, then he could have lived, right? He could have lived, but you came too late. And Yahushua said, what? I am the resurrection. If I come 10 days later, he gonna rise because I said so. And this is not what we're talking about. He had to call him by name because if he said come out of the grave, everybody that was in that grave would have came out. And that's why he said no. I'm not talking to everybody. That's why he said Lazarus come out. He had to be specific and say Lazarus, or it was gonna be everybody coming out of the grave. Oh man, because they would all came. Man, too much for you. Shalom, family. Shalom. Blessings to you. Don P. Yehuda in the building. Shalom. Blessings to you. So let's get into this real quick. Gia listening on YouTube. My sister Ebony, Gia listening on YouTube. That's good. That's cool. Oh, well, I hope I do a good job then, because it can be a daunting task sometimes. The vision of the ram and the goat. And I'm gonna put that picture back up there for a real quick second. The vision of the ram and the goat. Show you real quick. And it really goes into chapter 7, but we're just gonna touch on it in 8 a little bit, and then we're gonna read some historical things that took place. Right? One prophecy was amazing because, well, we'll get into that later. I'm gonna get off task. Daniel 1 and 8. In the 3rd year of the reign of Belshazzar, a second vision appeared to me, Daniel. This was 2 years after one of the first appeared to me. This is the Amplified. So if y'all reading the KJV, y'all probably like, what are you talking about? I looked in at the vision and it seemed that I was in the citadel in Susa. Well, that's the capital of Persia, which is in the province of Elam. And I looked in the vision and saw myself by the Ulai Canal. Now, this is interesting, but this canal was a man-made canal that wasn't even, when this was prophesied, this wasn't even dug yet. This canal didn't even exist. So this is how accurate this prophecy is. Then I raised my eyes and looked, and behold, there in front of the canal stood a lone ram, Medo-Persia, which had 2 horns. So one was for Medo and one for Persia, right? And the 2 horns were high, but one, the Persia, was higher than the other, Media. And the higher one came up last. And I saw a ram, Medo-Persia, charging westward and northward and southward. So that's basically like after Persia overthrew Babylon, they was conquering many lands, right? Westward, northward, and southward. No beast could stand before him, nor was there anyone who could rescue anything from his power, but he did as he pleased and magnified himself. So Abba Yah letting this heathen king and his kingdom rule, right? Nobody can stand against him, right? And I was observing this, behold, a male goat, Greece, was coming from the west, rushing across the face of the whole earth without touching the ground. It was going so fast that it seemed like he was not touching the ground. And the goat had a remarkable horn, Alexander the Great, between his eyes. So the Alexander the Great from Persia, from Greece, was that goat was the horn between the goat's eyes. And he came up to the ram that had 2 horns, which I had seen standing in the front of the canal, and charged him with fury, his power and wrath. In my vision, I saw him come close to the ram, Medo-Persia, and he was filled with rage towards him. And the goat Greece struck the ram and shattered his 2 horns, and the ram had no strength to stand before him. So the goat threw him to the ground and trampled him, and there was no one who could rescue the ram from his power. So now that's the next who's in charge, right? That's the next kingdom, heathen kingdom, that was in charge, that the Most High let rule, right? Was Greece. Then the male goat magnified himself exceedingly, and when he was young and strong, the great horn, Alexander, was suddenly broken, and in its place there came up 4 prominent horns among the kingdom, and was divided one towards each of the 4 winds. Now this is what makes Daniel 8 and 8 amazing, because this happened way. This is during Persian reign, and this happened before this happened. He's talking about the one great horn that this in amplified version. It says Alexander, but Daniel didn't know no such thing as Alexander the Great. Then he didn't know, but he just said it was a strong horn. But amplified put Alexander in here, and then guess what? Once Alexander the Great died, which I'm going to show you these other two passages, other scriptures, it was the kingdom was so massive and so big, they had to divide it up into four. So look at the accuracy of this prophecy, right? It said Alexander was suddenly broken, and in this place there came up four prominent horns. Among the kingdom was divided one toward each of the four winds of heaven. That's amazing. The little horn. Out of one, Antiochus the fourth, Epiphanes, came forth a rather small horn, but one an irreverent presumption and profane pride, which grew exceedingly powerful toward the south, towards the east, and towards the beautiful land, Israel. And in my vision, this horn grew up to the hosts of heaven and caused some of the hosts of the stars to fall to the earth and trampled them. Indeed, it magnified itself to be equal with the commander of hosts of heaven, or Adonai Sevaot, right? The Most High Yah. And it took away him from the daily sacrifice, burnt offering, and the place of his sanctuary was thrown down profane. Because the transgression of the people, their irreverence and ungodliness, the host will be given over to the wicked horn, along with the regular sacrifice. Righteousness and truth will be flung to the ground, and the horn will do as it pleased by divine permission and prosper. By divine permission. So basically, the Most High allowed it for a season. I'm going to show you this other passage. I'm going to read the book of Maccabees. Now, I'm gonna read two different things. I'm gonna read the book of Maccabees first. The book of Maccabees is one of the books that was taken out. Well, not taken out, but it's not really used no more. We only got the 66, but it was a lot of different books in there. And then after a certain time, they just took those books out. Somebody took it upon themselves to say, okay, this is not canon, or this is not a good book, and they took the books out. But Malachi is the last book of the old, quote unquote, Old Testament, right? And then it's a 400-year period. And then what? Matthew is the beginning of what? The New Testament, when Yahushua is born in a manger, right? So you got 400 years of, I guess, nobody was silent. And so we call it the silent period. And shout out to Pastor Aaron earlier today. He was saying the reason that it was a silent period because there wasn't no prophets. There wasn't no more prophets prophesying or coming and saying, thus said the Lord, this, that, and the other. So that's why it was a silent period. So they was not saying that they was left to fend for themselves, but they wasn't getting no instruction from heaven after that book, after Malachi. So that was like 400 years. But the intertestament period is a lot of that apocrypha. So that's the reason why it's quiet. And then all of a sudden, let me show this back again. So Persia, during the book of Malachi, Persia was in control, and then when you go into Matthew, the Roman Empire is in control. What happened to this Greece? That was during that intertestament period, the book of Maccabees, and all those different, a lot of those different books was during the intertestament period. This is when Alexander the Great ruled. So let me go ahead and show this tab. And it was more books than just the Bible. People, all kings and kingdoms gave account to what happened during their time. Right? You got scribes of all different kingdoms that's writing down what happened. Sometimes people lie and fabricate the truth. I think that's another reason why they don't want critical race theory and different things. They want to tell this heroic story, how George Washington, is just so great, and Benjamin Franklin and all of these guys, right? And none of the slaves invented anything, and it's just, and so history sometimes is not told properly. But let's go back to this. I digress. The first book of Maccabees, because the one who wins the war tells the story. They write the history books. So if my kingdom whoop up your kingdom, but I want to have a good legacy. I want to be looked upon as, a good guy, right? Me and my kingdom. So I'm going to change where I'm gonna hide books. I'm gonna replace books. I'm gonna change curriculums. I'm gonna change different things so I can be looked upon as a good guy when it comes to my legacy, right? But the whole thing is a lot of these other books they're still around that are contrary to a lot of the later books that was written. Okay, and even at the Library of Alexandria, it was a lot of books that talk about who was who, right? And let you Negro land and who was the original Hebrews, right? Not the people that's over in Israel right now, the occupied Israel right now. Those are Jewish converts from Khazaria, right? They're from Russia and Poland and Germany. But I digress. That's a whole nother different story. That's not what we're talking about. Um, but but we in this a period called the Awakening, because there's a different dispensations of time, and it's in a period called the Awakening when he will his true Israel is being awakened. But look at this first book of Maccabees. Let's look at this real quick. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, that go Alexander the Great of Macedonia, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius. Darius is from Persia, the king of the Persians and the Medes, and he reigned in his stead the first over Greece. So right and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth and went through the ends of the earth and took spoils in many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. Right? I want to get down to those four kingdoms so we can see the accuracy in this. Oh, come on, don't do that. Why is opening up tabs? Oh, come on, act right. Verse 2, and many wars and won many strongholds and slew the king of the earth and went through the ends of the earth and took spoil of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet. Okay, verse 4. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings. And after those things he fell sick, this Alexander the Great, and perceived that he should die. Therefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule one of his place. And after his death, they put a crown upon themselves. So did their sons after many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. And there came from them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus, the king, who had made who had been the host of Rome, and he reigned 137 years in the kingdom of Greece. I guess it's going to read it down later, but it talks about the four kingdoms being split up. So that's what I was trying to get to. But so now when Greece ruled, when Greece was in rule, they was taking the gold and the silver and pouring pigs' bloods on the altars of the Most High Yah. And what they wanted to do was they wanted everybody to assimilate to Greek and then eventually Roman culture. They wanted everybody to assimilate to their culture, right? And so that's the reason why we get a lot of paganism mixed in with the truth. We got a lot of different things that goes on. It's just mixed all in, right? Because assimilation. So whoever's in control, whether they're pagan or not, that's they want us to submit to their kingdom. That's the reason why the three Hebrew boys and Daniel, when they was under Babylon rule, they was in Babylon, but not of Babylon. And so that's why the king was so mad. Uh, uh, Nebuchadnezzar, and even after that, when Darius was from Persian rule, they didn't follow the rules of Persia, and that's why they threw him in the lion's den, right? But the Most High always honored them and say, y'all in Babylon, but not of Babylon. You're in Persia, but not of Persia. You're in Greece or in Greco-Roman rule, but not of Greco-Roman rule. We've been bought with a price. We already got a king. We already got a kingdom, right? Here we already got a king, and we already got a kingdom. So we don't have to submit to the kings of the fallen world. He said, "Be not conformed, right, to this world system, but what?
It said, be transformed by the renewing of your mind, right? He said, take up your cross and follow me daily. You, taking up the cross kills the flesh, right? So you can, he said, walk in the spirit so you won't fulfill the lust of the flesh. So when it's no longer I, we can listen to the still small voice and do thy will, do his will in the earth until he returns. All right. So let's go to this other thing to talk about. Let me see, share this tab. The Maccabean revolt. Okay, they talked about that. I wanted to show something, but I might not be able to get to it. Oh, Alexander's four generals. These are the four generals, right? Cassandra, who took over Europe, Lysimus, who took over Asia Minor, today called Turkey. Ptolemy took over Egypt. That's why we got that city called Alexandria. It's off of Alexander the Great. So Alexandria in Egypt is based off of Alexander the Great. And they said he supposedly had a big fire and all of his books got burned or something. But yeah, right. They didn't get burned. They took them. They stole them books and took them to the Vatican. That's a whole other different story. I don't want to get this shut down. So Seleucus took over Asia, Babylon, and Syria. So these are the four. So I just think that that's very amazing, the accuracy of Daniel, right? And he was called the he-goat, right? And even on the coin, I had a picture of the coin. I ain't got it right now. But there's a picture of a coin where Alexander the Great was on the coin as a goat. He had his picture on the coin, and they had two goat horns on there. So I think that's very, very crazy. And not crazy, but it's just amazing. How can I shut that down? Put that down right here. That he would call himself the goat. And we all want to be the goat now instead of sheep. What who should say, my sheep hear my voice, and what? Another they shall not follow. But we want to be the goat, the greatest of all time. He's the goat. He's the greatest of all time. Right? We follow him. Right? I'm not saying that you can't be good in anything, but we shall remember the Most High, for it is He that give us the power to get wealth, right? And be clothed in our right mind. Even when we go to school and stuff, we be like, I went, I read it, I did this, that, and the other. No, He gave you the strength to do it, and encouragement and the grit to finish. So it all go back to Him. All right. So this was pretty much was a short one, but I want to talk about the transition of power and show that one. Let me show this other one. All right. If you want this poster, matter of fact, I'm gonna put it in my in my community section on the Elephant Man podcast, and you could just right click and copy it. It's not my picture, but you see that rock at the bottom, the kingdom of Yah. It said at the end of the age, after Most High let all of these different kings and kingdoms rule, there was a rock that was cut out, not made by hands, and came and smashed the statue to pieces, and it became a great and exceeding mountain, and it rained forever, right? It rained forever. So once he set up his kingdom, that's pretty much it. And he also said the meek shall what? In closing, shall inherit the earth, right? So I wrote down what inheritance mean today, or last night. Inherit, to be left with, right? From the predecessor or a former owner, right? The meek shall inherit the earth. So the first Adam, he gave us dominion over this planet, right? And then the Hasatan tricked us, and then the last Adam came and we got dominion and rule back over it. But we don't have to steal, kill, and destroy, divide, and conquer. He said, I'll give it to you. He said, the meek shall inherit the earth, right? I'm going to give it to you. You don't have to steal it, take it. I'm going to give it to you, right? And this is all dealing with, my second notes was apocalyptic literature, visions of end times, including Ezekiel, Daniel, Revelation, and Zechariah chapters 9 through 14, right? And so the meek shall inherit the earth, 1. 2, Abba Yah is in control. 3, he has prophets in the earth. He had the fivefold ministries
I'm seeking I get them. I'm a evangelist, preacher, teacher, prophets, and pastors for the edification, building up of the saints. What edifice? Edification comes from the edifice, building up, right? You build it up. We get built up. And the things that are most high out, they are guides, right? We're not to worship them, right? But they are put in the earth uh so so we can be guided to the things of the most high Yah. Um so yeah, so he left the fivefold. Um so we can he said one man plant, another man water, but Abba Yahuwah get an increase. So I don't care about wars and rumors of wars and how crazy it's gonna get. The Bible says in Psalms, I was once young and now I'm old. And I've never seen a righteous forsaken or a seed begging bread. I remember going to this First Baptist Church on McCook Street. Shout out Reverend Houseworth. Um, and he and Miss Brown was teaching the class. Now I didn't go because I wanted to hear what was going on. There was some girls that went there, and I went so I can see them. But you got to you listening and checking it, listening to the word. And guess what? That seed germinated in my spirit, even though my purpose intentionally wasn't to go there to hear the word, right? But basically, what I was getting at, I went there and nothing happens without his hand or permission. And oh, that's what I'm getting at. I'm getting at. See, I'm getting older. Miss Brown read the scripture. She said, I was once young, but now I'm old. I've never seen a righteous forsaken or a seed begging bread. Had to be every bit of 14, maybe 13 or something. And it was a cute scripture. I didn't know what she was talking about. What? Then I got older, right? We had highs, we've had lows, right? Right? We've had, y'all know some of us, we all ate off one pot, right? And the money wasn't always the longest and the greatest. However, we made it. Some of y'all, I see some of y'all look like y'all missed the meal at all. Abba Yahuwah kept you. So through the highs and the lows and walking and stand on the bus line and in between cars and all these different things, he's kept us this whole time. We ain't kept ourselves. That'd be crazy for us to think that we kept ourselves. Well, some people think that they kept themselves because they didn't went to school or they didn't whatever. They think they all that in a slice of bread. But I once was younger, and now I'm older, and I've never seen his seed forsaken. Not never seen a righteous forsaken or a seed begging bread. So I say all that to say wars, rumors of wars, all these different things got to come to pass. We want to pray him away. We want to prophesy him away. We want to, if we get the right person in office, then all this stuff won't be away. No, not so. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. We want his kingdom to come. So all the prophecies and stuff got to come to pass, right? It's not gonna last forever. Only what you do for him gonna last forever. His kingdom is the one that's gonna last forever. Okay, so that's why we gearing our mind up to follow him. All right. So I'm gonna read some of these comments. D Pat, what's going on, brother? We are EC. Shalom. Shalom. Blessed to you, Dino. Hope they still call you Dino. Too much love. Shalom. Blessings. Blessings to all you guys. Blessings. Thank you guys for coming back. I gave the bridge version. But I said all that to say, Ruhamar, blessings to y'all. Blessings. Okay, let's see what Dino say right here. Let's see what Dino. It's funny how people say that they read the Bible but don't want to admit that this place is a part of Babylon. It's just, oh wow, yeah, you're absolutely right. You ain't never lying. In Babylon, but not on Babylon. Praise Yahusha. West Cayman in the play. West Cayman. West Cayman for life. For life. For life. You on the top, you heard what I'm saying? 4802 Larkspur in the building. Shout out to Gladiola, 151st place. Astor, John Quill. You already know. McCook, Melville. Come on now, don't get me started. Anyway, well, thank you, you love y'all. Appreciate you as well. We appreciate you as well. Share everything. Share if you can. Those are on the playback. Make sure you guys share too. Next week, I'm probably gonna be Yateri and Spell Life. I want to talk about the transition from the Greek kingdom into the Roman kingdom, which is next. So I'll go from bronze to clay, and that's when Yahusha came up on the scene, right? And Matthew, and then it was like, oh, the Messiah is born, and then Herod killed all babies 2 years old and under. It was terrible, right? But Yahusha, where they sent him to? Africa. They sent him to Africa to hide, right? And then when he died, then they sent him back. But anyway, we gonna get on out of here. I thank y'all for stopping by. Y'all Terry Spell Life. Next week we're gonna get it in. Yeah, next week we're gonna get it in. Y'all Terry Spell Life, and we're gonna continue on with this. Elephant Man Podcast Network, Grown Man Conversations, dealing with Elvis in the room. Shout out to Ebony, shout out to Micaiah, shout out to Malachi, shout out to Miles, shout out to Gia, shout out to Ida Harris, happy birthday again. Dino, shout out to my wife, Donna Bazell, shout out to the boys. Shalom.
Perfect.